Hey everybody, Secondhand Dan again, coming to you from the penny pincher thrift shop land. I'm in my workshop and it's been a cascading events here. One thing always leads to another. It's kind of like that episode in Malcolm in the Middle where Hal comes home from work, goes to change a light bulb. So he goes to change the light bulb, goes to the closet to get a fresh light bulb, then realizes the shelf is loose in the closet, so goes to fix the shelf in the closet, so he goes to the junk drawer to get a screwdriver, and then when he goes to get the screwdriver, he realizes that the drawer is extra squeaky, so he goes downstairs to get the WD-40 to repair the squeaky shelf. So now the WD-40 is empty when he shakes it, so he gets the car keys and gets ready to go and buy some more WD-40, hops in the car, starts it up, and the thing sounds horrible. So the last scene you see him, he's in the garage working underneath the engine of the car. The wife comes home and says, "Hal, did you change that light bulb?" He said, "I'm working on it." That's what it's like for me. So stay with me and I'll show you what the cascading events here. Well, it started this morning. I had my morning coffee, came downstairs and sat in front of the computer and went to eBay and realized I had something to pack and ship out. So that was priority one. So after realizing priority one was, I said, let me get on that. So priority one meant I needed a box for shipping. So I had to come back to my cardboard box pile and find a box for shipping. Once I found the correct box, which took a little while, I realized that I would have to cut styrofoam down to fit in the box, which meant I had to go over to my bandsaw and the bandsaw switch stopped working. So, which means I have to plug it in to get it going. So now it's on my list of things to do, change the bandsaw. Well, retreating back to my workshop, there was a pile of copper pipes here. I kicked and I said, I got to do something with that mess of copper pipes. So I picked up all those copper pipes and put them in here and say, well, I've got to cut these to length so I can put them in my smelter because you can't measure but 5 inches a piece and fit them in the crucible. So then I had to go measure the crucible so I know what size I would need. Then I said, well, it's too cluttered to work on this area, so I started to clean up the workbench so I'd have room to put the copper pipes on top of the workbench. Well, in putting the copper pipes on the workbench, I started putting tools away. So tools go into the toolbox. And I'm putting tools away, bam, one drawer wouldn't come all the way out. So I had found that a file from this drawer had managed to flip all the way in the back and was preventing the drawer from opening up. So I had to take this drawer out. And to take that out, I had to remove these tangs and pull this drawer out. So I got that back in, and then I realized that, my bottom box is overburdened. My bottom drawer is overburdened with hammers. Look how many hammers I have in my bottom drawer. I'm saying, this is ridiculous. I've got to thin the herd. So I decided I got to sort them up to see which hammers are important and which hammers I want to give up. How many of you guys have been in the same situation? It seems like all your tools seem like they're worth holding on to because not all hammers are created the same. You say, well, you got a couple of small sledgehammers. Yeah, but I don't want to booger this one up if I'm swinging on a car and maybe hit that and booger it up. So maybe I want to save the one with the ugly handle. So sometimes you need a sledgehammer with a short handle, so in case you have a little swinging room. Then it's like, well, I don't want to damage what I'm hammering on. Maybe it's a rotor or something like that. So you're like, well, there's a copper one. Here's a lead one. Here's a plastic one. There's a wooden one. There's a leather one. There's a rubber one. There's a rubber dead blow. Then I start looking at my claw hammers. Not all claw hammers are created equal. Some have a straight claw, some have the curved claw. And they're different weights. And some are wooden handles, some are fiberglass handles, some are steel handles. Some you figure they might be sacrificial someday, so you want to hang on to the worst of them in case you have to mess up a hammer and not worry about losing a good hammer. But will you ever do that? Especially like these two guys are so lightweight. These are probably suited for my grandson next year. So do I hang on to those so he'll have something to swing? Which means I got to put them back into the drawer. Then we move over to the ball peens. Well, I've got two of these, exactly the same. One's a little prettier. Then there's a size down. Of course, you would keep the big one and a size down, but do you keep the extra big one? Then you have all these smaller ball peens. Well, this one over here, it's aluminum, so it should be over here with the soft pounders. Now, these little ball peens, they're cute, but how often am I going to need something that cute, that little? I'm not building jewelry or working on watches. So which of these ball peens do I give up? And got a spare handle. So once I start sorting them out, I realize that the drawers need lubricated. So I'm spraying lubrication and cleaning the tracks out with rags. And then I realized before I put these hammers back, they should have a better bed than this piece of wrinkled cardboard with this very nasty piece of foam rubber. Do I reuse it for now, or do I look for something better around here? Well, if you thought that was a lot of hammers, check out my vice grip collection. Now, the majority of these tools, well, maybe it's 50-50, came in what's called lots. Maybe you buy a box of tools at a yard sale for $5 because it's got 10, 15 tools in it. It wasn't, I was after the one individual item, but so we got vice grips. I try and stay away from anything that's really cheap. But then again, you hate to throw it away. It's like, then you hold on to it. It's like, oh, am I going to give this to my son, my grandson, my friend, or Goodwill? There's all my pliers, wire cutters, side cutters, wire strippers. Now see, I just pulled this drawer out and I'm like, it's wonky coming out. So should I stop and lubricate it? Tools, tools, tools. Can't live with them, can't live without them. This was something I actually bought maybe last year, the pair of channel locks. The rest of them came from different places, yard sales. Pipe wrenches, check this out. You think, okay, well, you're not too bad. 1, 2, 3 pipe wrenches. No, not 3 pipe wrenches. There's weight. There's more. Having 2 huge toolboxes is not enough. You need shelves with tools on them. And we were last looking at pipe wrenches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 5. There's a little one, 6. And I'm sure there's probably another one in my truck. So no shortage of pipe wrenches. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love having these 2 big toolboxes. This one here on the, this one on the right, I've had for like 20 years. Bought it off another mechanic in a garage I was working at. It was Goodyear. Well, actually, I bought it off the toolman. The mechanic was trading it in, and I bought it off the toolman before he even put it on his truck. Pry bars. Do I have enough pry bars? Crow's feet. Tire irons. More pry bars. But wait, there's more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 crowbars right there. It just keeps giving. Ooh, hate that when that happens. Sockets. And specialty sockets. But wait, there's more. All right, well, we were working our way up on this toolbox. Screwdrivers. They're hard to give up sometimes. It's like, there's no way possibly I need all these. But you're always concerned that you'll need a sacrificial screwdriver someday to weld on or use as a chisel or, oh, there's a wrench in there. Files. Lots of files. I guess you'd call this my file drawer. But wait, there's more. And not only is there more, there's another toolbox to accommodate more. Oh, machinist tools, taps and dies. Specialty bits, micrometers. But I told you there was more files there. See the files down there? More taps and dies. More taps. What's down here? Oh, woodworking chisels. I was looking for this. Oh, I wasn't looking for this, but I may need this. I thought maybe I have a house with a concrete block foundation with the paint is looking pretty gnarly. So maybe if we attack it with one of those. All right, we still haven't gotten through the first toolbox yet. Files. Wrenches. This is, I believe, my metric wrenches. And these are my standard wrenches. But still I had a set of metric over here. Crow's feet. Brake tools. Boy, those hardly ever get used. Compressor accessories. You got your blowguns and couplings and male fittings. Plumbing. You have a lot of pipe cutters and flaring tools. Nut drivers. Actual nut drivers, not to be confused with Torx drivers. Now that's a nice drawer there. Watch this thing. Impact. You hit it with the hammer, got the right bits in it. Pop rivet guns. Wood chisels. And plenty of Teflon tape couple of thermometers, more blowguns, or airline fittings. You know, seeing these thermometers keeps reminding me that I had lost my digital thermometer, and it seems like it's been a year. And you think in a year, putzing around the workshop and the store, that it would pop up. There's a couple of things on my list that I'm missing, would really love to find. I have a Bose FM stereo and CD receiver. I can't find the remote for it. I think I lost that 6 months ago. And I'm missing a set of keys. Over the top of this box, this is a Cornwell box. I've got some levels, tape measures, chalk line. What's that doing up here? It should be in the chalk line drawer. Isn't that ridiculous? But I didn't go buying every chalk line I saw. Like I said, a lot of times you buy a box of tools and there's one of those in there. Torpedo levels, tape measures. I'd say, wait, there's more, and I'd show you about 5 more out in the showroom because we keep them nearby to measure for packing. Super long tape measures. Extended blowgun. Well, let's just slip over and start at the top of the Mac. This is the Mac Daddy. Mac Tools. I bought this one a couple years ago. It came with another toolbox. Got a great deal, and it had a lot of tools in it. So, voltmeter. I think I have my electric drawer. There's another voltmeter of sorts. I know there's a cheap Harbor Freight around here somewhere. Miniature tools. Scraper, razor scraper. Used to need that when I was doing inspections on cars to take off the old stickers. Now this gauge, I just keep it up here. I thought it kind of looked cool. I guess that's telling the temperature in here. It is 56 degrees. Okay, coming down. Telescopic magnets and mirrors. Hole punches for like leather and cardboard. Another hole punch. There, that's good for holding matches for lighting furnaces. Dial calipers and micrometers. There we go. Squares, rulers, combination squares. I believe that's an exact miter. T-bevel. There's some high-end die tap tools. They actually ratchet. What's in here? It's a Starrett magnetic mount for your dial indicator. Well, got enough of these. Protractors. The one thing I'm really missing, though, is a good this in a larger version. Because you can only do about, what, 6-8-inch circle with this. Well, extensions and ratchets. Torque wrench. When I was down in Florida, Last year I actually had to rent one because I didn't want to commit to buying one. Why is this box empty? Now that makes me wonder, because I have no idea when the last time I used a 3/8 drive torque wrench. Here's a nice one in here. It's a Bonnie. That's a good make. No, I'm puzzled about the 3/8 torque wrench. Impact sockets. These have been with me for probably about 30 years. You know, you keep losing one, you keep hoping you're going to find it again. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you go on eBay and you try to replace the missing one, and you end up buying a set just because it was a good deal. Chisels and brass punches and drift punches. Brick chisels. There's a brass punch. Spring-loaded center punches. Another brassy there. Long chisel. Assortment of sockets. I wish they weren't so assorted, but more in order, but it hasn't been a problem for me. I keep trying to maybe throw 1/4 inch in here, 3/8 in there, and 1/2 inch in here. But my grandson still gets into this drawer every time we come down here, and he starts scattering them around the workshop, and even carries them over to the showroom and sets them up in different places in there. Air tools, air tools. There's more. Sander, die cutter, is a cutoff wheel. Stapler, brad nailer, air chisel, grinder. So that's the gist of what's in these two toolboxes, and you saw what was in the smaller toolbox. But then there's the tool shelf. This Milwaukee Salzo in here. That's been with me for, like, I'd have to say 40 years. And it's gotten a lot of use. Still occasionally, every couple of weeks I need it. And here I have a propane torch for doing plumbing. Over here I have a heat gun, blow the hot air, and I have a soldering gun. 3 wood planes. Wire brushes, on arbors. And then you get up to the battery powered. It's about 95% DeWalt. There's a Porter cable in there. And here's a Ryobi. I don't know why I have this Ryobi. There's a little Rockwell router. So you think that's enough in the way of power tools? I don't think so. Let's go to the other side of the workshop. Power tools, anybody? Saver saw. 1 saw. 2 saw. 3 saver saws. Electric palm sander. And here we have a electric Ryobi wood planer. A Bosch Bulldog drill. A grinder. And another grinder with a wire brush in it. A large Bosch grinder with a cutoff wheel in it. Another 4.5-inch grinder. A Ryobi sander. Craftsman, like a plunge router. There's another 2 grinders down here. Coming down another shelf. Blower. Circular saw. Palm sander. And there's another circular saw up here, electric. And I think I've got one up at the house I'm working on. Then there's over here. There's a hammer drill in here. A Ryobi drill of some sort in there. Here's a like a control arm bushing press. I might be able to use that with the press I have in the back room, the hydraulic press, if I need different rings. I think that's a belt sander in there. There's a biscuit joiner in that box right there. There's an untold myriad of things that I can't even account for. There's another sander down there. Sometimes I wish I could snap my fingers and make it all go away. But sometimes I'm really happy with everything that I have. Vices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, granted, those are all vices I'm trying to sell. 8. And if you want to count that one, it's kind of like a press. I think that's an old dental press vise for making dentures. Then, of course, there's vices I have mounted. My Yoast. My little Fuller. And then there's this little guy, a Defiance. And then I have a pipe vise. I almost got rid of that once, and I said, yeah, I need a project. Let me clean it up and sand it and wire brush it, paint it. And it's been around now for, I think, 2 years since I did that. And I've used it with some intermittent frequency. I would like to take all these jaws out. When you take them all out, they're all measured the same. They just sit on an angle. But they need to be taken out, stacked together, and then ground so I can get nice sharp edges on them again. See, I'm already distracting myself into another project. Well, over here, clamps, C-clamps. I was just about to say our job here is done, but no, C-clamps. Well, you just can't live by C-clamps alone. You need these clamps. Which keeps reminding me, I bought a pair of clamps at somebody's yard sale to add to these. They were $5 for the pair, and I haven't seen them, and that was like a month ago. So I must have laid them down in another section of the building and haven't been able to recall where exactly I laid them down. So, wire. Rolls of wire. There was a hardware store going out of business, and I was able to pick this stuff up ridiculously cheap. Probably even less than scrap value. Nails and screws and nails and screws. Nails and screws. Nails and screws. And here's some of the tools I thought I was laying aside just to get rid of. A lot of extra snips and shears. Concrete screws, so I wasn't trying to get rid of those. Let's take a quickie over here. Now, a lot of this stuff I thought I was trying to sell off, but people haven't been beating the path to my door in the last couple of years. There's no shortage of tools anymore because a lot of our seniors die and leave this stuff, and it just trickles on down to family members or to Goodwills or to people like myself with secondhand stores. So there ain't too many people who are trying to buy a chisel off of me or a screwdriver. Check out the old analyzer. That's something I would think that maybe eventually I'd make a lamp base. The same with some of this stuff over here. All right, all right, all right. Look at a stack of cutoff discs. Or sanding discs. Yeah, I think. Box of marker crayons. For like writing on steel or wood. I tell you, a lot of this stuff came from when I had to either clean out a house or I was at an auction and they say, okay, well, what am I bid for everything remaining here on this garage wall or in this basement corner? And I'd be the high bidder. I'm not too anxious to do that anymore. Back in the day, you could haul it up to the flea market after doing that and easily sell a ton of it. But now it's just gathering dust. Oh, there's another vise. All right, well, I've got to get back on this copper because it's a lot of clutter. I got to take off the valves, cut it into meltable lengths, which I have determined I think is 5 inches. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please leave a comment, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. Well, I guess that's the same thing. All right, well, leave a subscription then. Thanks everybody. This is Secondhand Dan saying goodbye.